What's going on, guys? It's Crypto Control here, and I'm just going to be talking about pump and dumps and something that I don't see other people talking about when it comes to DeFi and how projects work. And so I think people generally understand how most of DeFi is pump and dumps, and they can see that, but they still are chasing pump and dumps, and they don't realize that you're kind of stuck with DeFi. You're stuck within a pyramid scheme by design, and I don't see anybody else recognizing or acknowledging that design, and I don't see anybody really fixing or balancing that design. So I think it's just important to understand that within DeFi, this chart right here is a chart of a project called SafeMoon. Hey, what's up, Mitch Bromwell? How's it going? And so the purpose of this live stream is to try to just put out why all cryptos are pump and dumps, why they're pyramid schemes, and it's to try to point you towards a solution that I've created. And so, generally speaking, when a project launches, it starts off at a very cheap price. There's what's called a liquidity pool, and I think most people understand how a liquidity pool works. That if you're in DeFi, you probably understand how a liquidity pool works as far as the token. You got the token, and you got the native coin on the blockchain. So you create a contract, you have the token on that contract, and you need the native coin in order to provide value to the token. In order to increase the price, you have to send the native coin to that contract address, and then you get the token out, and that raises the price. But the problem is why every single project is a pump and dump, and why you don't really have any hope in most of these projects to make money, is because it's a pyramid structure in the way that the tokens are given out. The initial price point is very cheap. It's extremely cheap to buy those tokens. And so as the price goes up, everybody else has to pay a lot more, so that when they get in later, they have to pay, if you see 100x and you put $1,000 in, well, somebody to get the same amount of value you put in, the same amount of tokens you got, they'd have to put in $100,000 in order to get that same amount. So it creates a pyramid structure, and what everybody's doing in DeFi is they're trying to build a project on top of a liquidity pool, which is basically a pyramid scheme. Like, that's just how it works. And so it's all about getting people to believe a narrative, whatever that narrative is, whether it be utility, meme, or whether it be, we're going to be listed on something, a celebrity is going to tweet us out. There's some type of event that's going to happen that is going to cause a bunch of people to buy, and that's what you're trying to convince people of. So you're trying to convince people to buy into a pyramid scheme is how traditionally most every single DeFi is. And it's all about trying to get the most realistic idea to convince them of why this is going to be the next big one. And but ultimately, you're building a project on something that isn't designed to grow, and it doesn't reward like long-term growth. It only rewards the people who sell. So even if you're a big holder in a large project, you don't win unless you sell. You have to sell in order to realize those gains. And so what the liquidity pool does is it creates a pyramid structure, and the liquidity pool rewards those who destroy the price. If you sell, all the people on this chart right here, it was only the people who sold who won. Everybody who held, you were helping keeping the project alive, and everybody who bought these dips, you were, helping the sentiment of the project. You were helping the project grow, and you were holding. Well, you were punished for that because you didn't sell. And so a liquidity pool naturally incentivizes and rewards the destruction of the project, the death of it. Thanks, Mitch. I appreciate that. And so I think most people just don't want to talk about the fact that every single project in DeFi is built on top of this liquidity pool that's a pyramid structure that is rewarding and incentivizing. It's like it's telling all the people at the top, destroy the project and I'll give you all the value out of the liquidity pool. Sell and I'll give you all the value out. And so what that does is it creates charts like the one you see right here, where it's only really the early buyers who are going to benefit, and the people who buy at the right times, right before it pumps. Then if you buy, then you're going to be the one who, hey, what's up, Drew Cool, welcome, how's it going, man? And so if you look at most of DeFi, that's why I say that most of DeFi is only really benefiting the bad actors, the people who are scamming, rug pulling, And even if you're not scamming or rug pulling, the liquidity pool will give all the power and wealth to the people at the top of a project. And then it's about convincing a bunch of people to buy into that idea so that the people at the top will benefit. And so the people at the top, the early buyers, have the control over the future of the project, and they have the most control to pull out of the liquidity. And that's where the problem is. This is the problem that's stopping projects from being able to grow. It's also the problem where only these people are winning and everybody else is losing. So it doesn't really matter what project you're getting into. You're stuck with, if it's built onto a liquidity pool, which every single project is, then it's designed to see more, brother. Good to see you. You too, man. Appreciate that. It's designed to fail. But a crypto, it can't portray itself this way. No crypto can come in and say, we're a pyramid scheme, it's only going to benefit the people at the top, and the project's designed to fail. No one's going to say that, right? But that's the reality of what's going on with the how a liquidity pool works. It just naturally gives all that power to the early buyers, and then you have a narrative. That narrative, whatever it is only really going to benefit the people who sell. And it's only really the people at the top that are going to hit their selling points way before everybody else does. Mathematically, that's just the reality of it. And so I'm not saying that whales are a problem, like morally, that they're doing anything wrong if you're not a bad actor. But I'm just saying this is what stops projects from being able to grow. And it's why every project that you're getting into, you're probably losing on. If it doesn't rug, if it's not botted, if they're not giving themselves tokens and secretly selling, it's like people are just wanting to get into a project that does well and they can't because, and they don't know why, right? They can't tell why. And honestly, it's because of where control is at. And so all the control goes to the team, and if they give themselves tokens and if they give themselves access to liquidity, they can destroy the growth of the project and they can rug the project. That's not going to help a project grow or last, and it's taking all the value from everybody else. And so the idea is to take control back. You have to balance a liquidity pool. I haven't really heard anybody talk about balancing the incentives and the wealth distribution of a liquidity pool in order to help a project grow. Because most projects out there, that's all you're buying into is a pyramid scheme with a narrative that's probably only going to benefit the people at the top. And if they don't rug the project or steal, your goal is to sell before everybody else on a bunch of other people that buy after you. That's the only way the price can go up, is if you get in here, you need all of these people to buy so that you can sell on them. That's just kind of the game of crypto, and we all kind of understand it, but the reality is that the narrative of a project is to convince you that that's not what it is. And so I believe that building on top of a liquidity pool without a serious utility that's already producing profit is creating a narrative that's only going to benefit the people at the top. And so if you look at what a liquidity pool is, it's a wealth distribution mechanism, and you can counter the negative incentives of a liquidity pool through the use of tokenomics or tax, which basically you can collect value on transactions, on buys and sells, and then you can take that value and give it out into the future. So let's see if I can rewind all this. I probably won't be able to go all the way back. Well, brother, good to see you too. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask it in the chat. I'm just doing this to try to, for one, to try to help people, but to also say that, like, hey, I think I have a solution to the problem that nobody's addressing. And so all the value in the liquidity pool is right here, right? So this is the liquidity pool, and the price fluctuates with the value that's going in and the value that's going out. And so this is why I always say people are seeking value. That's all you're seeking. That's the only reason people are in DeFi. They don't care about utilities. They don't care about events if it doesn't lead to them making money, the potential of them making money. And so people want the value, the price, the sentiment, the belief in the project are all the same thing. The belief, the narrative, the story, whatever it is, it's all interconnected with the value that's in the liquidity pool. And so through the use of a tax, you can counter those negative effects of a liquidity pool, and you can shift that value into the future. See, with this chart, when stuff is happening, it's going down, and there's nothing to look forward to other than hoping a bunch of people buy after. And even when people do buy, you've already got whales that are going to take their profits, and it's only the people at the top of the pyramid scheme of the liquidity pool or the holder list that are going to benefit off of this. And it's not even all of them, it's only the ones that take profits. So through the use of a tax, you can take value that would go into the liquidity pool through a buy and a sell, you convert it into a stable coin. And converting it to a stable coin is like really important part of that, because only the people at the top are benefiting off of the token. If you are rewarding people with the token, then you're putting them, they're still stuck and tied to the value that's in the liquidity pool. Once all the people that sell the liquidity pool, they get all the value, everybody else loses. So we're trying to separate, have a separate value or price or sentiment or belief or story. We're trying to preserve the life of a project, get something that actually grows. And so by converting it to a stable coin and by giving it out in the future, we can create real value in the future that people can look forward to, other than hoping that people buy. And we do it out in a bigger and bigger measure. So you've got this stable coin that isn't impacted by the price, and so there's something real to look forward to. It's not like an event that, it's not like an exchange listing, and hopefully with the exchange listing a bunch of people buy and then we can sell on them. I mean, you start to look at what crypto is, it's pretty crazy. But by putting real value in the future, and it's stable coin, so it can't go down, it's permanent value. You're putting permanent value, it has a price that can't go down, it's permanent sentiment, it's permanent belief, it's a permanent story that cannot go down. And so by converting through the utilization of a tax and converting it to a stable coin, you can preserve the future of the project to a certain extent. And it can be quite impactful, actually, because it's all buys and sells are fueling these future rewards. And it's not so much about rewards, it's about just taking value that would only go to the people that destroy the project and giving it out in the future. And what that means is everybody who's leaving the project right here, all these cells, usually they're rewarded for doing that. And they're rewarded for destroying the momentum, for destroying the sentiment, for destroying the price, for destroying the value, for destroying the belief, right? It's really important to understand all those words are connected. And in doing so, they win. Like, everybody who held, they lost. But by doing this, these people are forfeiting and leaving behind a lot of value in the future that they would have gotten. And so when they leave the project, they fuel these permanent stablecoin rewards. And we're shifting value out of the hands of the people that are selling and destroying the project, and we're giving it out in the future. But we're also shifting value from everybody who enters the project, the buy tax, and we're giving that out in the future as well. And so what that means is we're creating something real to look forward to, and that has an impact on the liquidity pool, because there is basically real future value that cannot go down, that's going to go to the stakers. Thanks, Mitch Brummel. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys like this, then feel free to share. And so I think most projects, they build on top of a liquidity pool. They know they're stuck with a severe problem of, once the whales sell, the price, you're not gonna be able to get that price to go on another run. It's gonna be really, really hard to get the price to go on another run. And there's so many whales that have so much power, and it's not even like all of them. It's like only takes a couple of them selling, and then you still have a bunch of other whales who didn't get their chance to sell. So even if you manage to get the price to go on another run, the ceiling's probably been lowered of the expectation, because last time they were at that price, they didn't get a chance to take profits. So it lowers that ceiling right here of where they expect the price to go. They didn't even let it run here. When it got to here, last time these people who are selling right here, they didn't get the chance to take profits. And so the next time the price even gets to go on another run, they have lowered what their selling points are. And so the ceiling was lowered, and you create a structure that's only feeding your early buyers. And even if you manage to get that price to go on another run again, it only feeds the early buyers. And so it's a structure that's only kept constantly feeding people at the top through a bunch of people getting in underneath them. And so it's all about the wealth distribution and how it's distributed through the liquidity pool. And by changing that, you can balance that structure and reward more people than just the people that are selling and leaving. And you can do it in a way that incentivizes the growth of the project. If the liquidity pool right here, you can see that it incentivizes the death. It rewarded everybody who sold, and once the price tried to go on runs, they would sell again. Too much power is being given to those early buyers to keep a project from being able to grow and from being able to last. And so this is why projects with a liquidity pool are designed to fail. It takes insane amounts of people underneath that to buy and have a level of support that will actually hold it with cryptos, even with like big cryptos. So by shifting value that everyone's seeking in the liquidity pool into the future, we're preserving the price, the sentiment, the belief, the story, and because we're preserving that, there's something real to look forward to that will benefit more people than just the people that leave the project. Everyone who leaves the projects, they forfeit all of that stable coin they would have gotten. And the stable coin's guaranteed. It can't go down. The liquidity pool, someone could sell while you're sleeping, or someone could sell and before you hit your price point, your selling point. And so the liquidity pool it's interesting because it's the most exciting part of it, because it's fun to watch your bag do a 10x, 100x, or whatever. It's fun to see your value go insane, and everybody's getting kind of high off of watching that. Like, oh my God, I have $5,000. Oh, I have $10,000. I have $50,000, $100,000, and it's like, and then somebody else sells, and you're like, damn, I didn't actually have that. I had to have sold, and then everybody regrets selling. So back to the same thing. Price goes on another run, they're going to lower their selling point so that they don't miss out like they did the first time. And so the entire point is this structure is failure by design. When you're talking about getting a project to grow in the space and everybody's trying to convince you that these projects are going to make you money, the incentives of the liquidity pool is the death of the project. This is what it creates, a pump and a dump. And if you don't have the bad actors, the people that are giving themselves tokens and the people that are have access to the liquidity pool to just drain the value out of it, then you're still stuck with this structure of a pump and dump is going to happen. It's guaranteed to happen. It can't not happen, and it's only going to benefit the people at the top. But there's going to be a narrative or a story that's being told that's going to have to convince a bunch of people to feed those people at the top. And so the goal is how do you fix this? And I don't think anyone's trying to fix this. I think everybody's trying to build on a terrible foundation when it comes to trying to create something long term that benefits more than just the people at the top, right? You want to create something that lasts for a while and that doesn't only benefit the people at the top. And so there's a lot of great ways to do that. And so you start with the liquidity pool, right? And the value goes to the pyramid structure of the people at the top. That's how it naturally works. And so the idea is, how do we get value to these people down here in a way that causes or helps the project grow? Still holding your 2 million safe? Oh man, that's an unfortunate problem. And so let's say you utilize a tax. Oh, let's take a tax and let's give that to stakers. Let's give that, or let's just give it to everybody. And so you tax the token, you collect the token, and now you're giving that out to the people that are staking. And so what happens though is the value that you're giving everybody is still part of the pyramid structure if it's stuck in the token. So it doesn't matter because whoever has the largest amount staking, which is going to be your early buyers, is going to get most of that value, and they are going to be getting most of the rewards. And if the value is attached to the liquidity pool, then once these top people take profits and sell, then whatever value you're getting that's being taxed is going to be worthless. It is in my opinion, terrible idea to reward people or to try to shift value to other people within a project through the use of giving them the same token. And a lot of projects did that. Oh, if you stake, you'll get a certain amount of tokens. You'll get an APY. If you do this, if you lock up your tokens, you'll get a bunch more tokens. Meanwhile, if somebody sells, then those tokens ended up not having any value to them. So to avoid all of that, you utilize a tax and you convert it into a stable coin. The really cool part about converting utilizing a tax to convert something into a stablecoin is it's taking the value and it's preserving it as it comes in, or when it leaves, it takes it and converts it to a stablecoin. And so you have a lot of value that isn't negatively impacted by the liquidity pool, which is 100% what's going to happen when the whales take profits. So it's a hedge against sell-offs and against the negative impact of the liquidity pool, and it preserves value in the future of the project, which is a really cool thing. But so instead of, because we're trying to change and balance the problem of why projects fail, which is found in the liquidity pool. Like the liquidity pool, like I think it's a good thing in the right situations. I think that just DeFi is not it. Unless you have like a really serious utility with serious funding, like projects like potentially SquidGrow or Vitreous, then you actually are attached to a serious company that can actually pursue utilities that are actually profitable, and those profits are actually going back to the project. But even with that structure, you know, there's a time frame before it reaches that value coming into the project. And during that time, you still are stuck with the liquidity pool and how it's going to work, which is the whales have the power, and narratives are really only going to feed them as much as they allow it to. So by converting it to a stablecoin and by giving it out to, whether you give it out to everybody or whether you only give it to stakers, it's stablecoin rewards in a project, or whatever you want to call it, is shifting value to the rest of the project, to other people that aren't the sellers. If you give out stablecoin rewards and it's not attached to the liquidity pool, then you're giving out real value that isn't negatively impacted by the liquidity pool, and you're giving it to either everyone if every wallet receives it, or you're giving it to the stakers, which means that usually the only way to make profit in a project is to sell. But with projects like this, you're getting actual value that can't go down. And so a tax can become a really amazing thing if it's used in the right way. And so we don't want to just say, hey, this is cool for the sake of being cool, you get stablecoin. It's like, no, there's the problem of why projects fail is the liquidity pool pyramid structure that narratives are being built on that only fuel the people at the top. And it doesn't last that long, and once they sell, it becomes very hard to get that momentum up again, and there's no value for anybody left in the project other than the only people that are rewarded are the people that sold and took off. That's crypto. That's crypto. And so if you do stablecoin rewards, it's much better for your holders. It's a much better project because you'll just be getting real value that's attached to a stablecoin. It can't go down. And instead of just the sellers getting rewarded, now everybody's getting rewarded who's either receiving it or who's staking. And there's one other way to like make this even better, which is to delay it. Because I've seen projects do this, and whenever they give out these rewards, it'll kind of just happen on a daily basis or a monthly basis. You'll be getting the stablecoin rewards, and it's awesome because more people are winning than just the people that are selling. Everybody's just getting their stablecoin rewards. That's already an awesome idea that's benefiting more people than the ones that destroy the project, but it still does incentivize and reward the destruction of the project because somebody can just get their rewards and then sell. Get a bunch of your rewards. If volume dies down, you sell and you destroy the liquidity pool. Once again, we're stuck with the same problem. There's no value in the future to look forward to. It's only the people that sold that got it. But in this case, it's better, right? You still got the stable coin, and more people are winning than just the people that are losing. But the final secret is to delay it. If you delay this stable coin rewards, then everybody who leaves the project isn't going to get them. And so they have to forfeit a lot of value in order to take value. And so everyone leaving the project, which are usually the only people that are rewarded for a project, is the people that leave it and destroy it. It's so funny to understand that that's how a liquidity pool works. Hey, what's up, Tommy G? How's it going, man? My biggest loss was SafeMint. It was close, but the one project that hurt me money was Bonfire. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. Tommy G, I now use my Bonfire t-shirt to wash my car. Oh, no. You got a Bonfire, too? Sorry to hear that, guys. And so people want a good project. And so I think that this is the number one reason why projects fail. And I think addressing it will allow for a project to actually grow and benefit more people than just the people that sell. So stablecoin naturally does that, but if you delay the stablecoin, then you reward the people who keep the project alive, you know, and the people who sell and leave, they have to forfeit even more value. Before, if we don't delay that stablecoin, the sellers, they can get a bunch of their rewards, get a lot of their rewards, and then sell, and then leave the project. And then after the project dies down, there's no more value in the future to look forward to, because you need more volume to feed those rewards. And so by delaying these rewards, you increase the rewards and you incentivize the rewards to grow, because you incentivize more volume, and you reward, like I said, the people who help keep a project alive instead of only rewarding the people who destroy it. So when people leave a project like this, they say, I'm a whale and I have all these rewards in the future, you know, all this stable coin built up, and it only gets bigger and bigger, and it can only get bigger and bigger. So it can't go down, and the value of it can't go down. It can only go up, and the value of it can only go up as well, because it's not just a stable coin that's like to the dollar, it's an appreciating stable coin, so it goes from like $1 to $1.05 to $1.10, and it can't go down, it can only move up in value. Good day to you too, Tommy. Appreciate you stopping by, man. And so through the use of taking value, preserving it, and giving it out in the future, what are you doing to a project? If you take value that everybody's seeking in the liquidity pool, you preserve it, which detaches it from the liquidity pool, and you give it out in the future. You incentivize the growth of the liquidity pool, the longevity of the project, and you reward the people, and you incentivize and reward the people who keep the project alive, instead of only incentivizing and rewarding the people who destroy the project. Now, isn't that crazy that this kind of structure can actually start to balance the liquidity pool, or at least the pyramid structure of it? Not just the incentives, but also like who is leaving a project with value. The crypto project, it's only the people at the top who take profits. It's not even all the people at the top, it's just the ones that take profits. If you're in projects and you're at the top and you didn't take profits, you round tripped it, you wrote it all the way up and right back down to zero, you know, you lost. And I'm sure you feel terrible about projects where you had a lot and you could have taken profits. Through a design like this, if something like this had happened, if any project you've been in had this design, you would not have lost. You would have won to a certain extent. Worst case scenario and best case scenario, it would have incentivized the project to keep growing instead of pumping and dumping, because once it dumps, there's no more value to look forward to. And so we need to shift a lot of value into the future in order to incentivize the growth of the liquidity pool. If all the value is going into this pot, and then a bunch of people are pulling out the value out of the pot, there's no more reason to put a bunch in there, because you know they're just going to pull it out again. That's why projects pump and then dump. People are chasing those pumps. And by countering and balancing the negative incentives and rewards of a liquidity pool, you can actually create a project that's designed to live on and reward those people. You know, worst case scenario, if with a project like this, if you missed out on selling, you still have 13% of all buys being converted into a stable coin, and you have 18% of all sells being converted into a stable coin. You're going to get all of that. You're going to get your share of that. If you're a whale, you're going to get a lot of that. But even if you're a small holder, you're going to be getting much more than you would have in a taxless token, or in a token that rewards in the same token, or in a token that rewards in stablecoin, but it does it immediately to everybody. This is taking a lot of value, shifting it to stablecoin, and saying, we're giving this to the people who stay in the project. Worst case scenario, what that does is, if a bunch of people leave, they forfeit all that value to everybody left behind. Best case scenario is that value in the future incentivizes people to stay in the project and for the project to keep growing. And if the project continues to have more consistent volume, those rewards can only go up. Whether buys or sells are happening, those permanent future rewards can only go up. And that will naturally incentivize people to want to continue to get in the project. So I don't think something like this has been done before. I do think that this is an amazing concept, and that if the community that comes together behind this project understands it, that we can have potentially, I think, a project that sets itself apart from the rest of DeFi. I think there'll be, if this can do well, obviously people will be chasing it, they'll be copying it, they'll be trying to say, oh, you know, we're just like that, but we're going to do this better, and you know, whatnot. So, because most of DeFi is just scammers. They don't actually care about helping people or creating something that grows. They just want to make money. They're not trying to actually solve any problems. They just know that if you convince people to chase something, you can steal a lot of their money, and you can put yourself at the top through either buying tokens, giving yourself tokens, or having access to the liquidity pool. The odds are designed against you in most DeFi projects, and I'm sure people are just sick and tired of getting rugged. Like, you're probably just so done with being rugged in projects. And so through a project like this, I'm creating a place for people to be confident in the future growth of the project. And sentiment and price are interconnected. If people are confident in the growth of the project, that's going to allow it to grow. And as a project grows, it becomes exponential in its growth. That's why projects can really start to skyrocket and take off. If you lock selling, if you make it so people can't sell, like Squid Game's token did, price went insane until they rugged, then the price will go crazy, because everybody, it's the psychological effect that it has when people watch their bag value go up and they go, oh my gosh, dude, I'm sitting on 5,000, and you tell your friends and they tell their friends, and it keeps going up, and so they go, I got to get in this, and so they get in. That's the growth that everybody is trying to reproduce without turning cells off. And so how do you do that? How do you get people to want to hold? You have to put value on the other side of selling. You have to put it so that when people say, I'm going to sell, there's a bunch of value in the future that I'm going to be forfeiting. So when somebody sells in Control Token, which is what my project is, which is what I believe is the solution to balancing the liquidity pool and creating a project that can actually grow and reward more people than just the people at the top who sell, then you need to shift that value out of the liquidity pool and into the future. And so what that does is the people who, when they go to sell, they have, if you're a whale, your rewards are a lot. And I went over yesterday about how big these rewards are. The rewards are very big compared to other of the biggest reward tokens, because the tax is higher, so it's naturally going to be higher rewards. It's only going to the staker, so it's not going to everybody. That makes the rewards even bigger, and it's delayed. So everybody who leaves, you're just forfeiting all the rewards in the future that you would have gotten. All of those things greatly increase the value of those rewards. And it's a utility appreciating stablecoin, so the value of the rewards goes up as well. That's awesome. When you sell in this with a setup like this, when people go to sell, it's not just, oh, what if the price goes up more and I could have sold for more? That's the only thing you have to worry about in a crypto project when you sell. Oh, crud, what if I could have sold for 100,000 instead of 10,000? It's the only thing in your mind when you go to sell. So with a project like this, when you go to sell, you go, man, I got to pay 20%. So if I'm on 100K, I'm only going to get 80K. But not only that, the price could go up, right? That's the thing you usually have. The rewards can only go up, because the price could go down, but the price could go up, but the rewards can only go up. And I'm forfeiting all the rewards that I would get in the future. So I have to, when I go to sell, when anyone goes to sell in this project, they have to forfeit all the rewards they would get in the future if they're selling before the reward dates, which is over a year-long period. And they have to pay a tax into those rewards. You have to actually shift a lot of value from the people that are destroying the project into the future of the project to keep it alive. It's a very simple idea, but I think it's a very genius idea that will create a project that like everybody's looking for. Everybody wants something that lasts longer than a couple days, that only benefits the bad actors or the people at the top. You want to be a part of something that you know is benefiting more than just the people at the top. And when you tell anybody about this project, you know, worst case scenario, they're getting those stablecoin rewards. Like worst case scenario. Best case scenario, they have opportunity to take profits and they get really good rewards along the way. So this is a project that I feel solves the solution of why all crypto projects are not working, and it's because they're all built on a liquidity pool, and how that liquidity pool dishes out wealth is in a way that destroys the project. It's designed to destroy the project, and so by balancing that through the use of attacks and tokenomics to shift that and change that and to pull away from those people that are destroying the project, give into those people that are keeping it alive, we can actually balance a project and create a project that is designed to last long term and to reward more than just the people that destroy the project. So that's Control Token. I could talk about it more, but I'm probably going to cut it short today. I just wanted to talk about, like, hey, I don't know how you guys feel about DeFi, but I imagine you're probably sick of being rugged. You're probably sick of being pump and dumped on, and you want something. You want something that you can trust, and you want something that will last longer than a short amount of time. And a lot of people really like the idea of earning stablecoin and stuff. So, all right, Tommy G, have a good day, man. Thanks for stopping by. And so, this is why I created Control Token. Was I want a project like that. I want something that lasts a long time, that rewards more than just the people at the top. I don't want to start a project where I tell a narrative or a story and it only benefits these people, whoever they are, the early buyers. Because I have to lie to all these people that they're going to make money in order to benefit these people at the top. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in DeFi. If that's all it is, I don't want to do that. And you know how many times I've been told about projects, and I get in a project and it pumps and then it dumps, and people don't know the bots, all these other people, the project rugged. It's just, dude, it's shameful. Crypto is shameful. And I think people are trying to make good projects, but they don't realize that building on top of a liquidity pool is a problem. That if you're trying to do a project in DeFi by taking and adopting this structure that I've designed, by taking delayed utility, not even utility, just delayed stablecoin rewards, put a tax on the project, delay those rewards, you're shifting value into the future to help keep a project alive. It is that simple. And it's taking from the people who destroy the project and giving to the people who keep it alive. Because if you're a whale, your rewards are a lot. You know what I mean? That depending on the amount of volume and how it happens, if something like this, if the price goes right here, a lot of whales, their rewards are going to be better than the value they have in their bag. And so it'll actually create a floor where people aren't going to sell because the rewards are too good. So if we have sell-offs, then it is very likely that a lot of whales will be willing to hold rather than sell at a loss, because they know that there's that future value stablecoin that they're going to get, which is pretty awesome, right? So anyways, guys, I think I'm going to cut it short today. Thanks for stopping by. Mitch Bromwell, Tommy G, True.